Joining me now is the spokesperson for the International Committee of the Red Cross, Steve Dorsey. Steve, thank you so much for coming back. We really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Let's start right there. Your reaction to what we've learned from Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, that the IDF is now prepared to take over all of Gaza City.
Kristen, we know that the civilians across Gaza are living in unspeakable conditions, from public health challenges to access to food security to just maintaining their own safety. They're sleeping in tents. They're sleeping inside rubble, wherever they can find a place to stay. This risks exacerbating an already horrific situation. Gaza is 80% in an evacuation zone. So trying to imagine compressing this amount of people into an even smaller patch of land is promoting the idea of chaos, but also risking the lives of civilians in an already dangerous area, plus humanitarian workers as well.
Well, and the fact that Prime Minister Netanyahu is saying we are going to get humanitarian aid to the people outside of the combat zone. How would that work? Is that even realistic when you're talking about taking control of an entire swath of territory?
It's already a tremendous challenge, right? We've been seeing that for the last few months. Very little food aid especially has been entering Gaza. Since the last time I talked to you, there have been these airdrops happening. A limited amount of trucks and other aid are making it into the occupied territory, but that's really a drop in the bucket. That's not a sustainable solution. What we need is an uninterrupted surge in humanitarian aid. We need safe spaces for people to access health care, to live, to provide refuge for their own families. That's what Gaza needs right now, and they need a break in the hostilities, not an intensification.
And what is the message to the United States right now as it watches this crisis unfold and intensify? And as you say, if Israel were to go in, it would just exacerbate the situation.
Yeah, we need to get more help to Gaza. That's first and foremost. We need to protect the civilians that are there. We need to ensure they have their basic needs met. But we also, of course, need to ensure that we have access to these hostages. We can't forget about them. And short of that, they also need to be released. This is illegal. This conflict goes on every day with families in Gaza in anguish, and the families of these hostages also in pain.
Well, I was just talking to Andrea Mitchell about this very aspect. There are, it's believed, 20 hostages still being held. They are in dire condition. Their families have gone through hell. What does a potential invasion of Gaza City mean for them and mean for their families?
And certainly it's concerning to the hostages' families. It's gone way too long for them to even make contact with them. Even family news, delivering family news, is an essential part of our services, of our responsibilities in reaching hostages, detainees, prisoners in any armed conflict around the world. This just exacerbates pain. And certainly a lasting ceasefire and political agreement is something Gaza needs the most right now.
Do you think that is even possible? We know that we just saw President Trump talking about trying to bring the war in Ukraine to an end. We know that this is a priority as well. Steve Witkoff, his top diplomat, has been going to these various regions trying to negotiate a peace agreement. But does that seem remotely possible at this point?
Yeah, we can't give up hope. We can't give up hope in Ukraine and Russia. Obviously, some positive signs in Azerbaijan and Armenia that we heard today.
Right.
These are long-running conflicts. Hope is always there. And I can make a commitment on behalf of the Red Cross, and that's we'll be there. And we'll be there to do our best to try to increase the amount of help that we can offer to the people that need it.
You know, we've heard some people say, and now we're getting reports, that Prime Minister Netanyahu said this to President Trump, and President Trump was absolutely enraged by this. This is an NBC News report, that some of the images that are coming out of Gaza have been doctored, images of the starving children, for example. What do you make of that? What is your response to hearing that? And when you hear someone say that, how do you respond to them?
Humanitarian action should be removed from politics. Aid should never be reduced to a bargaining chip. What is clear is that the images that we've seen outside of Gaza and the accounts that I get from my colleagues in Israel and Gaza every single day are heartbreaking. We've seen these. They're moving. They are troubling. We know children are searching through rubble and trash to find any scraps to eat. We know children are crying from hunger. This is real. And it needs a response.
Very quickly, your team's on the ground. Have you had to pull them out? And will you have to pull them out if, in fact, Israel is going to go into all of Gaza?
Absolutely. It's hard to maintain a strong footprint there. Getting anything inside and outside, including people, is tough. We've had our own security incidents a few weeks ago. A colleague in Gaza was killed. This continues to be a real significant threat for us and all humanitarian workers.
Steve Dorsey, thank you so much.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.